Hello everyone, my name's Paul and I work with the Flamingos here at WWT, and you join me in front of our wonderful lesser flamingos for this month's edition of WildWatch. So 2017 has seen a flurry of flamingo activity in the world of science and research. We have used our work here at Slimbridge as part of a brand new book chapter. We have had several scientific publications and we are learning much more about the world of the flamingo that we keep. So our long-running Flamingo Friends project has shown that just like human beings, birds are really individual. They have their own likes and dislikes. And if you look at the flocks like these lessers, you can see how they stand next to birds that they prefer and how they're avoiding birds that maybe they don't get on as much with. So on a gloriously sunny day, the birds are really looking at their best. So you can come down and see lots of courtship display and lots of wonderful bright pink feathers. And we've even managed to put cameras into the heart of our flocks, so you can get a nose-to-beak view of the life of a flamingo colony. So with all this breeding behaviour, we are expecting the pattering of tiny feet by the end of May. So join us again in the future when we can give you a further update of the breeding behaviour of our birds. If you'd like to know more about the flamingos, they feature in the current edition of Waterlife, where you can learn some more flamboyant facts about our fabulous friends.
Well, the black-headed gull colonies around the reserve have been very active. Anybody that's visited will see lots of movement around and lots of noise, very vocal birds. But we've reached a point now where it's starting to warm up, the sun's been up, the insects are up, and black-headed gulls are really stepping it up a gear. So they're looking to build their nests, hide themselves away. But most importantly, we're watching the females pairing up with the males. The males having to pass that test, so they have to constantly bring in food. Females will beg to be fed, and then the male will regurgitate the earthworms that is collected just to pass the test, prove that that bird can then feed the chicks once they've hatched. So it's not just the black-headed gulls which are pairing up, lots of species are doing exactly the same. Kingfishers, they've been very active. Again, the female down there has been quite choosy. She's been very careful about the nest hole, making sure everything's just right, and making sure that the male, again, like the black-headed gulls, is bringing enough food in to keep her going, and just make sure that it does the same for the chicks when they hatch. So many of the species, they've invested a lot of time, invested months in some cases with the pairing up process. Other species, they might be young and inexperienced, and we're seeing one or two cases of this playing out. So we've got Mediterranean gulls around the site. They don't appear to have paired up with anybody. There's no strong bond as yet. They're so pumped up, they're desperate to find a mate. So we do have one individual which is displaying to pretty much anything that walks by. So it's actually displaying to black-headed gulls. So we'll watch that with interest.
We're behind the scenes in the duckery today to look at one of the naughtiest ducklings of them all, the bronze-winged duck. Cheeping away in the back of shot, these guys are even now trying to interrupt me. And in fact, during the filming of the process, these guys jumped on top of the GoPro and tried to make a flying leap to freedom. They're ever so cheeky. These guys hatch out ever so independent, very large, very fluffy, and very able to look after themselves. Bronze-winged ducks do try to jump before they can walk, and sometimes they do take a little tumble, which they've got to learn to get out of those sorts of scrapes. They're nibbling away at the lovely shiny marbles that we put in their water dish to stimulate drinking, as well as hoovering the specialist crumb that we crumble onto the mat for their first meal. Bronze-wings have become notorious in our avicultural department for being perpetual teenagers, aiming to stay forever young, something I think that we can all aspire to sometimes.
Thank you for joining us for this very flamboyant edition of WildWatch. If you've enjoyed it, please share with your family and friends on social media, and we hope to see you again next month.